Today I'm going to try to draw this view of Palamidi Fortress in Nafplio, Greece, and there's a chance I get all of this information wrong. I'm just looking at a map of the fortress, so please bear with me, and also, as usual, take my pronunciation of these names with a grain of salt. So, from what I've gathered, I am set up precariously, I might add, atop the bastion of Leonidas, with the bastion of Miltiades to my right, and bastion of Epaminondas in the distance. And these account for less than half of the bastions that make up Palamidi Fortress. If you've watched my other videos from Greece, there were two where in the background you could just make out the fortress in the distance. It looms large over Nafplio, perched atop 999 steps into the mountain, so I knew when I arrived that I'd just have to get up here and draw something eventually. And actually, I did yesterday. My little bell tower thing, or whatever you would call it, was from the opposite side of this bastion. Did I reclimb all of these steps to draw again today? Or did I just draw both of them yesterday? Wouldn't you like to know? So anyway, Palamidi is apparently one of the most important and best preserved fortresses in all of Greece. It was built by the Venetians, along with most everything else here, in the 18th century, and named after Palamedes, a legendary hero of the mythical Trojan War. I've said this before, most notably in my video from Mycenae, but it is absolutely mind-boggling to be in places like this with such dense history, both real and mythological, let alone to draw them. Also, like I mentioned yesterday, I've also had the opportunity to learn a lot about these places thanks to simply having to research them if I want to talk about them. Even if I got the names of the bastions wrong, I still went down a little bit of a rabbit hole of this fortress, this city, the region, its history, and that has become a really fulfilling part of this process. When I started this, I figured it would be 99% drawing, I guess 1% talking, but that really hasn't been the case. The video making process, the historical investigation, and even the hunt for references alone has made this process so much more than I ever expected. It's pretty amazing. If you also think it's amazing, go ahead and do me a favor. Do you know what it is? I'm sure you do. Subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. And if this is your first time and you're thinking, what the heck is this guy up to? Don't even worry about it, actually. Just stick around and you'll see for yourself. How about that? Okay, so during that preamble, I've put together a significant chunk of the scene, starting with the wall on the right. A reference like this comes with a lot of freedom, which is nice, but also a little daunting. In real life, there is no frame, there are no lines, I have no box to contain what I'm seeing. Instead, I have everything up, down, left, and right, and I have to make decisions as to where I want to cut things off to fit into my own mental frame. So for the wall on the right, it's up to me to figure out how much of the frame it's going to take up. It could be very small, tucked away in the corner, and that would give me a lot more room for everything directly below me, more of the sky, stuff you can't see off to the left, etc. So somewhere in the process, I have to set in stone, or ink, where I want this to be. And that always comes down to intuition. You might think the reference video plays a big part, but actually, if you're used to filming vertically on your phone, you'll understand just how much here I've cut off from the top and the bottom. Also, for consistency's sake, I try to match the reference video to the final drawing so that you can see the resemblance and follow along. So while I obviously have a general idea of what I want to draw, which informs how I frame these references to begin with, there's still a lot to consider in the moment, and that either happens in a preliminary sketch, in my pocket sketchbook, or it just happens on screen. Today, I made a loose sketch of the composition beforehand, but even still, and to my point, I just start drawing. I'm not plotting and replotting. I'm just kind of deciding where I want something to go, how big or small I think it should be, and literally everything else falls into place after that, or at least I hope so. So, I started with this domed turret-looking thing and just worked my way down and through the rest of the scene. Is that the best way to work through drawings like these? I have no idea, but it seems to be working for me, so I guess I'll keep doing it. From there, and through the remainder of the drawing, my primary concerns are the composition and the texture. Compositionally, this path, the walls, and the trees all need to commingle, and it's up to me to avoid too much overlap or messiness, and that's the hard part. Things layer on top of other things, and it can be difficult to restrain myself from just drawing every single thing that I see. But I feel like I've learned a lot, especially in this respect, so I'm careful to leave space for each little region. Texturally, I have these stone walls, the foliage, and all of the rocks that make up the natural environment. Again, this is more of a process of restraint than precision. I don't want to fill in every last bit of texture and contrast, because if I'm honest, I don't have the requisite skill to do that while sustaining some level of visual harmony. I just don't have it yet, so I need to find workarounds along the way for the time being, which I think I have here. And I didn't think so at the time. I was feeling pretty anxious about how everything was or wasn't coming together, and that definitely didn't go away upon completing the drawing. It's not until now, as I record this voiceover, that I realize there is something to this one. Not that it's my best or even very good, but it gives me the sense that I'm taking in the environment a little bit better and consciously picking and choosing the things that I deem relevant enough to include. The more that I can do that, while my technique improves, the better these drawings will be, crossing my fingers. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to know what you think about the drawing, if you have any suggestions, etc. And I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.